Good morning, everybody. After seeing such a nice movie, and before that, lovely young lectures, I would call them, something that bubbles with energy. I'm going to present to you something which is way down. It's peaceful, happiness, nothing bubbling out. I want to ask you a simple question. Are we free after we got the independence? Everybody will say, yes, we are free. But I'll elaborate it and tell you, we are really not free. Are we free to eat what we want to eat? Is it without adulteration? Are we free to take up any job that we want? We cannot, because of reservations, because of so many other issues. Can we find health care easily? We go to the hospitals, we pay a lot of money. Even after we die, people keep charging us money for life-sustaining drugs. What else? Whatever you do today in this country is not contributing to, or it's not a result of freedom. When the freedom fighters wanted to get back the country from British Raj, they had a different opinion. They were living almost about 100 years back. After independence, we have spent 60 years and we are still struggling for various things in life. The second question that we need to ask ourselves, all right, if we are not so free as we wanted to be, are we happy? Can you make a guess of which country do you think is the happiest country in this world today? Bhutan. Many people said so. Why? The question is why? The answer to that simple question is they have focused on simple things in life. They have focused on things which are important for living. They haven't focused on very high technology. They haven't increased their army to such a large extent that we all have done. They have not spent money here and there. They have done something for themselves. And this is what I want to propose to all of you. It's nice to have very high technology. I am a technology person. I am from the IIT. I spent a lot of time abroad doing lots of things, high tech, satellites, radars, weapon systems. I have seen them. At the end of it, when I decided I am going to do throughout my life, am I going to do this? I left my job in 2004. My contract was till 2010. I was abroad. Why did I leave it? Because I was in search of happiness. I read something about Bhutan. In 2006, Bhutan was declared as the 6th happiest country in the world. After that, so many years have passed. The other countries have gone down. Bhutan has come up. Now, this is our situation. As an individual, I want to be happy. Look at the other side of it, the government. What is the government telling us? We are progressing? Yes. They talk about GDP, gross domestic product. You open your television any time of the day, they will be talking about GDP, 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 and some people will talk about GDP growth rate. 9% is expected in 2012, now it has brought down to 7.5%. What is GDP? It is the total gross product of the country. Whatever is made, it is driven by 6 core industries: coal, petroleum, cement, electricity, and things like this. So 25 to 30% of our product is based on these 6 core industries. So if the 6 core industries are doing well, our GDP is rising. Are you happy with GDP if it is rising? If you are making billions and billions of dollars of products, people are not happy. We are, all the people sitting here, I would consider ourselves to be part of middle class. We are middle class. We are forgetting, as we had a lecture in the morning, we heard about the villages, 1.2 billion people out of the so many people live in the villages. Are they having the same issues that we have? Are they suffering from bad roads? Are they suffering from something else? Or they are looking for irrigation? They are looking for plants? So GDP by itself, which our ministers and our various people are talking on the television, is not the thing that we should look for. Okay, so what else? We talk of inflation, prices are rising. prices are rising, it affects all of us. GDP does not affect us, price rise affects us. But if you ask somebody in the ministry or in the government, what are you doing about inflation? Inflation will come down after 3 months. It will come down in December. It will come down after elections or after the budget. What is inflation? If I want to buy, let us say, a bottle of Coke in America and buy the same bottle of Coke in India, the price difference is there, the currency difference is there. But am I able to buy the same thing with the money that I am getting? Yes. If you look at our GDP and if you look at our inflation rate and if you normalize it by looking at the basket of things that you want to buy, our economy is at least 4 times stronger than the US, because our purchasing power is much more than what we have there. I am not talking of real estate is a totally different story, but consumer goods, the things that people want to buy for day to day life, we do not have it so difficult here as far as middle class is concerned. Now, if you look at middle class like us and if you look at a villager, do you think that the requirements of life are the same? They are not. But as government, we want to say equality should exist. Everybody should have equal opportunity to learn things. Everybody should have equal opportunity to go for a profession. It does not happen. A person who belongs to a tribal community is not interested in all these things. He is not interested in education. He is not interested in profession. He is only interested in food, shelter and health services. So, if 1.2 billion people are going to be provided by this, we must follow the Bhutan model. And what is the Bhutan model? In the Bhutan model, most important of course for them also is GDP and inflation. They take care of GDP, they take care of inflation. They are talking about per capita income, it is $5,000 per person there. They have a very little population, but still. So, this one aspect of GDP, inflation, etc. is common. They also believe in that. But there are 3 other things that they do which we do not do. The second thing that they are focusing attention is on governance. Governance is a word which has come into picture during last 3-4 years. Developing countries are talking about governance. Governance depends a lot on corruption, it depends a lot on professionalism. Now, all of you know in India what is happening to these 2 things. Professionalism, in my opinion, professionalism in India is you be loyal to your immediate boss. If the boss has not come today, no problem, but if he comes today, he tells you to do something, do it. That is professionalism in India. We do not look at the targets that the company has set, we look at the target that our immediate boss has set. In a bank, if you meet your targets within of the month on 20th, from 20th to 30th is almost a holiday. You can even try calling them, they will not respond because they have completed their targets. We do not need this kind of professionalism. We need professionalism which is object oriented, which has a target in front and which is as defined by the system, not as defined by your immediate boss. Corruption, well, I want to share with you, I wrote a book just after Anna Hazare started his movement on 5th of April. I completed that book, is published already. Most of the book I have written talks about corruption in different forms. Corruption is at the lowest levels, you are all learning about it on the television every day, it is at the highest level. When the government talks about corruption at higher levels, it says it does not affect people, it does not affect the masses, so do not talk about it. Do not talk about the millions of dollars that people have taken away. Talk about corruption at the lower levels. And when you talk about corruption at the lower levels, they say it is not possible to control because the systems are bad. Bhutan has not done this. Bhutan has gone ahead and improved their governance to a large extent. The third issue that Bhutan government has done, has taken care of, is what we call natural resources and their preservation. They have gone by a concept of Buddhism. Whatever you take from the nature, give back to the nature. If you do not do that, you can increase your GDP, you can increase the products, natural resources will go down. Natural resources include water, it includes forests, it includes minerals, everything. So, if you are consuming all of them and increasing your GDP and increasing the GDP growth rate, that means after some time there will be no natural resources left and you will be only talking about cement jungles and things like this. Bhutan did not do that. Bhutan has made sure that whatever natural resources are being used, we generate more of them subsequently by plants, by water management and all those things. The last thing that Bhutan has done, which we talk about it in India a lot, but we do not do really anything about it, is they have preserved their culture and their religion. We also talk about heritage, culture, religion, but do we do anything specific and concrete in that? Are our young people also oriented towards religion and heritage and culture as the older ones are? When you come to my age, I think I am the oldest one here, I am 65 years old. When you come to my age, you will realize after some time people are going to die. When somebody dies, does it matter whether he was a man or a woman? Does it matter whether he owed some money to somebody or he wanted to get some money from somebody? Nobody. Does it matter whether he was a celebrity or he was a beggar? When he dies, everything is finished. All of us will die at that point of time. I do not want to make you all gloomy and thinking about the death part, but we have to think of something else, and that is, in our life we should reach a stage where as individuals we are satisfied with our life, we achieve the freedom, we achieve the happiness that we need from ourselves. The government is not going to do much about it, because the government has to take care of 1.2 billion people. Some are poor, some are rich, some are very rich, some are criminals. We follow the system of Bhutan because it is being followed by Canada, and the Canadian government is implementing it in a big way. The governance matrix is not GDP, it is not GNP. GNP is gross national product, in which we include all the product that you are making, your companies are making abroad, and you minus whatever the MNCs are generating here, you minus that, and then you get what is called GNP. We are now looking at another index which they call Gross Happiness Index, GHI. UNO defines that in addition to GDP, in addition to the inflation, you have to have index for education, for health care, for mortality rate, for sex ratio, and a few other parameters. So, when you combine all of them, you get an index, and when you upgrade it to the model that Bhutan government has followed, we get what is Gross Happiness Index. We have been talking about it, even our government is talking about Gross Happiness Index, but it is only a talk, they are not doing it. We have to understand, we lead a life of about 7 decades or maybe 70 or 80 years old. First 40 years, 50 years, we run after technology, we run after growth, we run after products, but after that we start thinking, what are we doing? And imagine everybody will do that, 1.2 billion people will think of this. I am an engineer, I did a lot of work technology wise outside, now I have come to a stage for last 8 years I am not working. I do not need to work, but I am still very happy. In fact, I am more happy than I was before. So, I leave it for you to think that you have to decide for yourself where is the level and what do you expect the government to do for you. That is all I wanted to say.